Hi everyone. So I'm doing a part one of books that I liked for mid-month so far, that are 4 stars or more. Unfortunately, there's only one I can discuss right now because all the other books did not give 4 or more stars. So I'm kind of in a rut this month where I've been picking up books lately that just they haven't been hitting it. They have not been hitting it for me. But this one here at the beginning of the month was really good. I really like this one. I definitely want to continue on with this series because I've been really enjoying these books. So this is the second book in a series. This is The Oath by Gillian Bondarchuk. This is called A Grey Tower Chronicle. So the first one was The Shield and the Thistle. That one very much reminded me of like Outlander and all that stuff. This woman ends up traveling back in time, and different situations causes things to happen to where at the end of that book there was a blood oath that was cast, and so it's essentially a spell. And so this book here is the continuation from that blood oath that was in the ending of the first book, where we have Malcolm. Malcolm is a Scottish laird. He is essentially, he's the eldest, and he is obviously, the one that takes care of like his, village and all that stuff, to his people, who are part of his clan. And so because of this blood oath, he only has a certain amount of time to get to the person he needs to get to. Otherwise, he will essentially die. So Malcolm has to go to the witch who ended up saving him, her daughter. Her daughter is Koira, and Koira is a witch like her mother, and they are definitely in the family lineage of druids, where they're like a very old witch, coven and all that stuff. And they, it all depends on their powers. Like some have more, I guess you'd say, more darker magic and all that stuff. Then you have others that are more not so dark. So Koira, she could turn that way if she wanted to. If she wanted to go down that path. But she doesn't want to. She likes to heal. She likes to make things grow. So Malcolm comes to her basically on the brink of death. He is about to die if she does not help him. So she finds him in the woods that's close to where her mother's home is, because she's staying there. And so she finds him, and she brings him back to life, because he's, like I said, on the brink of death. He is really close to dying. So she saves him and administers, aid to him and all that stuff, brings him back to health. And so this is essentially their love story, where he has to bring her back to his clan so he can marry her, because that's essentially what was his price to save his brother. Because in the ending of the first book, his brother was seriously injured and on the brink of death. So the witch had saved his brother, and so in exchange for that, he had to do this blood oath. So he sees Koira for the first time, and even though he sees that, obviously she's trying to hide herself, he sees her as like she's an angel. She's beautiful, to him. And he kind of looks at it as like, well, you know what? This is not really a hardship for me, because, she's gorgeous, she's, but the one thing he knows is that essentially if he, once he brings her back, she, in a sense could be in danger, because, when it comes to during that time, you have certain types of like priests and things like that who, if they, see somebody who is performing witchcraft and things like that, they would be burned and, you know, killed. So that there is, you know, obviously she's in a sense of danger. He has to protect her, you know, from people who want to wish her harm. And also he has to have it to where there's going to be people who are part of his own clan that may not accept her. So it's essentially like it's this slow burn, slow story of, you know, them learning more about each other, because it's essentially like a marriage of convenience kind of thing. In a way, it kind of is. It's like a forced marriage. Even Koira is like, why did my mother do this? You know, she questions it, like, why did my mom do this? You know, force his hand, you know, force Malcolm to marry her, because she essentially looks at herself as she's hideous, because when she was 13 years old, she was burned by a priest. That, you know, was like, oh, they're witches, we need to burn them and all that stuff, evil, all of that stuff. So she was badly injured. Unfortunately, her mother wasn't able to heal her because of a situation that happened. So there was only so much that her mother was able to do. You only have a certain time frame to heal this person before, obviously, scars set in, things like that. So unfortunately for Koira, she ended up getting badly scarred from it. So she sees herself as not worthy of love, and it's sad. It's sad, the thoughts she had in her head, because I just kept thinking to myself, girl, don't matter if you're burned. I mean, you heal people, you help people. That to me is more beautiful than someone's physical attributes, you know? So for her, it's like she was burned like all along, like, you know, part of her body. So she has these scars on her face and the rest of her body. And so Malcolm, he kind of like overlooks her scars. And at first he's very kind of like, he doesn't know what to kind of like do with her kind of thing. He doesn't know how to act around her. But the more like they interact with each other and they talk with each other, the more he starts to develop these feelings for her. And it's just this slow, progressive romance throughout the book. And it has, like, you know, there's adventure in it. Like, she has a couple of instances where she's almost killed, you know, where he has to help her. So it's there's a, you know, a couple of assassination attempts on her life because of her being a witch and all that stuff. And there's other things that, you know, kind of like go along with the story. But I really liked it. It was a really good, I will say I liked the first one better, but I still liked this one a lot. And I definitely want to get this on, get a physical copy of this book, as well as the first book. The first book I got to get a physical copy of as well. But I'm not really a big fantasy, you know, historical fantasy fan, but I really like the series. And it's not like overly, there's not too many fantastical things going on into the book to where it really makes you confused. She's a healer. She goes and she can grow plants like quicker than like nature obviously does. And also, if there is such a thing as like there's potentially a drought where plants maybe are not going to be able to grow properly, things like that, there are times that crops die. And so you know, especially like when you live in during that time, if you have crops that aren't growing at the time of what they should be growing at, you're gonna have how many people starving, you know? So you're gonna have starvation and all this other stuff. So she helps, you know, she helps those people, and they you know, she earns their respect. You know, she earns their respect because she does nothing but help them throughout the book, you know, being nice, being kind. And you know, it took their, you know, like closed-minded and prejudice of witches to realize that not all witches are bad. Not all witches want to do you harm, you know? And it was essentially the, you know, your people that are in a religious power, in a sense, you know, where it's got priests and pastors and things like that. If they give the wrong impression, you know, then you're going to have your flock, you know, your people, who are essentially going to be like, oh, well, these witches are bad. When it's like, if you just get to know this person and see that the power they have is not a curse, it's not evil, it's a gift. You know, it's a gift. It's something that she's doing, is she's helping people. And so to me, I'm like, that's not evil. Helping other people is not evil. And so I really liked Koira. She was a very strong heroine, and, you know, she, you know, didn't look at herself as anything special, but she was just a beautiful soul, you know, very beautiful soul. And I liked that, you know, she was doing what she could to help people, and they, you know, essentially became her found family, this found family. And I love found families. I just love them so much. And so this found family, and also like they protected her like so much. They became like her protectors. Besides Malcolm, there were others that just came along and they were like, no, we're protecting, she's our lady, we're protecting her, you know, to death, you know. And I really liked that. I really appreciated that they really formed such a bond and connection to her. And same thing with Malcolm. He just like fell like so deeply in love with her, and it just like, yeah, I really enjoyed that one. I thought it was really good. And yes, you have to read the first book first. Read the first book and then delve into this one. And there is a third book coming out. I can't wait for that one, because we're going to know more what went on with this story, because we're introduced to other characters and stuff like that. So we're going to see what happens with the third book. I hope it's really good, because I'm really liking this series so far. I really liked these first two books, and that's about all that I've read so far that I've really enjoyed. And now I'm going to end up doing a part 2 with my salty reviews, and you're going to see there were some that I really didn't like. But this one here, if you like a fantasy, historical, you know, you like that sort of thing, you like the show Outlander and all of the different stuff that comes from that, you like a Scottish laird, you like, you know, witches and things like that, you would probably really like this one, because it was just really good. There, I will say, there are times where it kind of like, I think this is with the author. There are times of like, what I would say is like quietness, where it's like the characters, the main characters very much go through like a day-to-day thing, you know, where she's helping in the kitchen, and she's creating these herbs, and these, you know, are healing things that, you know, will heal people. Or maybe it's like she's spending how many days like helping somebody burn themselves, and she's helping them. So it has like you know, very quiet stretches where it might bore some people. They might be like, oh, well, this part's boring, you know, so maybe you're kind of like, you want to speed up a little bit. But I kind of like the boring parts. And what I would essentially say is like the boring parts, the quiet parts, is that you could see, you know, this progression of, you know, time, where some, you know, like some romances, it almost seems like it's like a race to the finish, where it's like, it just seems like so quick, and you get used to the quickness, to where that's all you know is like something that like, you know, boom, 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 like really quick. Where this one here, it's more of a stretch. It's more of a stretch. And sometimes you need that. You need those types of romances where they kind of like stretch out a little bit more. It gives you more of the setting, you know a little bit more of the setting, a little bit more of like these characters. They grow on you more, you know, to where you have more of a deeper connection with some of these characters than, say, other characters that maybe they kind of flash by so quickly, you know. So this one here, I'd say if you like more slow burn and things like that, you probably would really like this book. But yeah, definitely delve into the first one first and go from there. The third one, I don't know when that one's coming out. I'll have to go and check. Maybe sometime late this year, I'm not sure. I'll have to check and see. But yeah, this one was really good. I liked this one a lot. And yeah, that's it for this video here. Have yourselves a good day. Take care of yourselves. Be kind to each other. Look out for my part 2 where I'm talking about my salty reviews. And I will see you all on another video. All right. Bye.